Jordan, good to see you. A really important topic today, protecting a child with disabilities through estate planning. The cost of raising a child to 18 now costs about $300,000, and that doesn't even include the cost of college. But for a child with special needs, that cost can more than triple. And without proper planning, your child's lifetime needs can quickly outstrip your funds. So we're going to talk through some action steps. First, you need to make sure that you have an updated estate plan that reflects your wishes.
Yeah, you said updated, but that's beginning. Just make sure you have an estate plan,
Right.
right? That's number one. Have your legal documents, your trust, your powers of attorney, all those things in order, your will, to make sure that if you love your family, everything's financially in good position and good order. But on top of that, especially like you mentioned, special needs, you want to have a special needs trust to make
Mm.
sure you're looking out for that child that needs some additional care, and make sure you have all the legal documents in order to make it stress-free as possible for your family and that special needs child.
Yeah, and just to kind of underscore what's really important, if you have a child with special needs, estate planning isn't a one and done. This is an ongoing process.
100%, because their changes in their life might need different things. You need to make sure you ongoingly review these documents. You don't want them to collect dust, but you need to kind of diligently look at these each and every year. What has changed? What needs to be
Mhm.
updated? Maybe the laws have changed. We want to update with the laws as well.
Yeah. Next, make sure that you have an estate plan that is in line with government benefits.
Yeah, there's a lot of good government benefits, especially if you have a special needs child. You just want to make sure that you are entitled to those and you can get all those benefits. And sometimes you need to use special trust to make sure you get more benefits from either Social Security, maybe Medicaid, or these different strategies. Also, when it comes to estate planning, sometimes we have to set up trusts where we can avoid estate taxes because the government needs money. And there's going to get a big influx of this wealth transfer. And we want to make sure that the IRS isn't a main beneficiary on that wealth transfer, that it goes to your special needs child, it goes to your family, and make sure you take those proactive steps.
Such an important reminder. Next, of course, you need to identify a caregiver, and this should happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, emergencies are not planned. They just happen. We
Right.
want to make sure that, I know my life is fragile. You get a car accident tomorrow. Make sure that you are proactive and seeing who's the caregiver for that special needs child. But even if it's not special needs, make sure you have a caregiver. When I talk to a client and they're referring their kids and grandchildren, they have a newborn, I ask them, not to be doomsday, but like if something happens to you, do you know who you want to raise your child? Oh, I think I do. Well, make sure you finalize that as a couple first, then approach that caregiver and make sure that they're okay with accepting that responsibility. And then make sure you put that in a legal document so the family is not arguing who's the caregiver. You legally have who that person is. You talk to as a family, you talk to the caregiver, makes it easier for the child that they're going to be taken care of.
Right, so important. And last, of course, when possible, involve the whole family. And because this is so complicated and as you mentioned, changes all the time, you really should seek professional guidance.
Yes, I know with finances and money and estate planning, it can be a sensitive subject, and maybe you don't have to give every little detail, but I do think having a family meeting on a situation like this, who's going to be the caregiver, what's going on in the overall estate, have that meeting. But a lot of times that meeting needs a third party to give leadership and give guidance to make sure the family is all on good terms and make sure they understand the process and what's going to happen. And that's what we try to provide for our clients, is that leadership, that guidance, to make sure everything goes smooth, make sure the family is happy throughout the process, because money or special needs child, that can create division inside a family if things are not proactively set up ahead of time.
Right, having that conversation with a professional sooner rather than later, very important. Jordan, if somebody wants to have that conversation with you, how can they reach you?
Yeah, we can set up a complimentary call or a meeting, 847-499-3454. Our team would be happy to talk to you and see if we can sit down and help you and your family.
Great. Jordan, thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.